Next Door Neighbor by Peter Filler. Chapter 15 The Jotus and Jenex Show. As Saturday afternoon quickly approached, Uncle Stan was busy posting Facebook ads to promote the Jotus and Jenex Show. Aunt Marianne did her part by researching every science journalist in the United States, and every NASA scientist found their email and emailed them a link to listen to the radio show. Only saying to tune in and learn more about the brilliantly talented science minds of Jotus and Jenex Parallax. Jotus and Jenex were worried, not only about being convincing first contact ambassadors, but also about RD-90. Once their star secrets are revealed, the government may perceive RD-90 as a threat and take him away. RD-90 had to be part of the message being sent back home to Commander Ramon on Starbase Utopias. This way, he and all the Zebonians would know that their first contact mission to Earth was a success. The first interstellar travelers made it across the universe and delivered a message of peace to all Earthlings. It was 2:45, almost showtime. The last obstacle was the security officer in the building. Jotus and Jenex dressed up RD-90 in a Bigfoot costume that they had bought in a magic shop. The group walked together into the building and by the security guards towards the elevators. Uncle Stan told the security guard they were acting out a scene that included an interview with Bigfoot. The security guard nodded as they went by. When they got past security, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Whew. As they rode up the elevator, Jenex held Jotus's hand. The bell dinged and they walked out onto the 7th floor. Houston Public Media was the first office. They walked down the hall and tried to open the door, but it was locked. So they waited. They started to get nervous because David Miller wasn't there to greet them. After 15 minutes, they finally saw someone stirring inside, making their way to the door. It was Venus Flytrap, legendary radio DJ. He opened the door a little and said to them, "Hey, Jive Turkeys, what's going on?" Jotus and Jenex looked at each other, surprised, and both said, "What?" Jenex and Jotus were looking at each other. "What?" Venus replied, "Nah, just playing." "Come on in." As he opened the door and continued, "David Miller sent me a message and let me know you guys were coming. Here, follow me." As they walked in, Venus showed Uncle Stan the radio studio's equipment. Jotus and Jenex sat at the recording studio desk, put on the headphones, then adjusted their microphones. Venus was showing Uncle Stan how to manage the computers, including recording the radio show, playing background music, and reading listener text messages to the hosts. "I've got to get going," Venus said. "Johnny Fever will be in at 4. When you're done, press this button here." Venus points to the button on the console labeled Top of the Hour News. "That will give you 5 minutes to get out and for Johnny to get in. Do the same. Look for him in the lobby at 4 p.m. and let him in." Venus Flytrap looked at the clock. "It's 3:05. Showtime." He gave a thumbs up and held his hand over the button labeled Studio on the soundboard. Then he began the countdown. 3, 2, 1. He pressed the button and the blinking light stopped blinking. The Jotus and Jenex show was live. Uncle Stan begins the music. Weird science. Jotus begins, "You're listening to the Jotus and Jenex show. Welcome to the show. We're the hosts of the Jotus and Jenex show. I'm your host, Jotus. And I'm your host, Jenex. Together. And we're from Brighton Beach, Brooklyn." Jotus continues, "Now let's say hello to our producer, Uncle Stan." Applause. Uncle Stan begins. You're listening to us live, and we invite you to send your comments, questions, and feedback about today's show to the radio station. Please text us now at 713-440-8870. Be sure to include your name, where you're listening from. We will answer your questions right away in the order in which we receive them. Uncle Stan continues. It's good to be here with you, Jotus and Jenex, my benefactors. Sorry, maybe I can help the audience later with their questions about benefactors. I'm sure you have questions. I would like to talk to them about ensuring generational wealth for their families to ensure their legacy is legendary. Uncle Stan continues. We just got a message from Liv Armstrong, which reads, Hi, my name is Liv, mom of Alexa and Aaron. Hey, I was wondering, how do I get started on ensuring my family has generational wealth? I look forward to hearing your answer. Thank you. Uncle Stan, thank you for your question, Liv. It all starts with your credit, so first thing we'll do is pull your credit report. If you have any unpaid bills, you need to pay them as soon as possible. Take a second job to get extra cash to pay your bills. If you don't have a credit card, get a starter credit card to build your credit. Once you have good credit, the sky is the limit. While you're building your credit, you can start buying and selling foreclosure houses. Also, you can buy cars at auction, fix them, and resell them. First, we can talk about a hard money loan, also known as an investor loan, with a little higher interest rates than conventional loans because of the low credit. I can help you with that. This is one way I can help you get started. Uncle Stan was surprised by an incoming message. It's Dennis, Liv's husband. It's his phone number in the message. Call me. I'm ready to get started right away. I need a hard money loan so I can start buying and selling foreclosure homes and cars at auction. Surprised and excited, Uncle Stan pumps his fists, then continues. Well, we're off to a spectacular start. Now, since we're just getting started, today we're going to learn about what Jotus and Jenex created for the Buccaneer High School Science Fair and how you can buy what they created. Also, later, listen as Jotus and Jenex interview a special guest, Bigfoot. And finally, Jotus and Jenex are going to tell us how they are able to change people's behavior by writing persuasively. Of course, I'll be here to answer any questions you may have about investing and growing your money. Jenex begins. Yes, my Uncle Stan is right. We're able to replicate our projects. If you want to buy a bottle of Smog Eater, it's $10. Or one of Jotus's USB-C microturbines, that's $10 also. We'll ship them to you, and we can help get your eliminated odors right away, or smog in your vicinity. Also, we can help get your tech some much-needed energy. Text us your orders at 281-460-8155 anytime. Then Cash App us. Our Cash App is $Jotus and Jenex. We will send them to you right away. We promise. Jotus begins. I want to ask you all a yes or no question. Would you believe me if I told you Bigfoot was real? Yes or no? Jenex replies. No, not very likely. Jotus continues. Well, I've got news for you. I've researched every bit of evidence that exists and found enough evidence to prove that Bigfoot is real. I went to search for the Sasquatch in the Northwest. While searching, I stumbled upon a Sasquatch in the woods. I bribed him with a pizza to get him to follow me on the plane. Bigfoot, how are you today? RD90 makes owl-like sounds. Hoo! Hoo! Woo-hoo! Jenex questions Jotus. What else can you tell us about the Bigfoot you found? What's his name? Where does he come from? How tall is he and how much does he weigh? Jotus replies, he likes it when you give him snacks. Muffins are his favorite. I've been calling him Harry Harry. Found him in the desert near Salt Lake City, Utah. He's 7 feet tall and he weighs 500 pounds. Jenex continues, "Wow, that's fabulous. It looks like we have our first question. It's from Alexa. She wants to know who Harry really is." Jotus replies, Harry is a mystery guest. Dressed up like Bigfoot. You're going to learn more about him later in the show. So keep listening to find out who Harry is. Then Jotus changes the subject. Let's talk about writing persuasively. Jotus continues, my Uncle Stan is new to driving in Galveston. He's used to driving in the very busy, crowded streets of Brighton Beach, Brooklyn. My Uncle Stan has been driving very fast on the open roads down here. And there's nothing standing in his way or slowing him down. Not knowing what to do about it, we worried because maybe, he might have hurt himself, crashed into another car and hurt other people around him. We thought the only way my Uncle Stan would start taking us seriously is if we put it in writing. So, Jenex and Jotus, we wrote him a letter to Uncle Stan, and it worked. Uncle Stan stopped speeding, and now we feel much safer in the car when we're driving with him. Jotus wraps up his point. That's the power of persuasive writing, audience. That should be your personal goal, to persuade people, to get them to do what you want them to do. To control them, just like we did with our Uncle Stan. We got him to stop speeding so he would take his life. He wouldn't put us in danger. He potentially wouldn't put his life in more danger. So when you write persuasively, audience, you're able to achieve your dreams through the power of persuasion. Just then, Jotus's tone changes. Then he confesses. I want to be honest with you, the listener. The truth is, we created this show to send a message across the universe back to my people, who are 4.24 light years away. This message will also let the people of Earth know they're not alone in the universe. We told you we were from Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, but in fact, we really come from another planet. Planet Zebo. Planet Zebo revolves around the closest sun to yours, Proxima Centauri, which is 4.24 light years away from here. Our sun is the next closest star to your sun. We are your next star neighbors. When our radio show makes it across the universe, it will reach star base Utopias in Suburbia. The commanders, my parents, family, and all the Zebonians back home will know that we made it safely across the universe, and that Mission Share Star Secrets was a success. Uncle Stan continued, the listeners have texted us several questions for us. If you have a question, please text us right now. Please include your name, where you're listening from. That station number is 713-440-8870. We'll answer your questions in the order in which we received them. Uncle Stan looked at the list on the screen, then read aloud. First question. Yaya from Houston wrote, how long have you been on Earth? How do you like it here? And what are some of your favorite things to do? Jotus replied, we've been here almost 1 Earth year. I love it here. Your video games are amazing. The weather is much nicer than where we're from. I have a friend, Julius, and the pizza is my favorite thing here. It's delicious. RD90 chimed in. That's wonderful. I've been here nearly 30 Earth years. It's been interesting. I spend my time mostly indoors because I wouldn't want to frighten anyone, like the time when I frightened Pete Roberts. All right, we're going to go to our first commercial break here. So stand by, listen to a little music, and we'll be right back with more The Jotus and Jenex Show. And we're back. Okay, we have another interesting question. This question's from Dr. Moses from South Galveston. He wants to know, what interesting things did you all see outside your window when you're heading towards Earth? That's a great question, Dr. Moses. Who wants to go first? I'll go first, said Jotus. On the way to Earth, I saw a very magical creature. It floats in the sky and makes very beautiful noises. I'm not sure, but I think it's called a bird. Fascinating, said Jenex. What about you? Asked Jotus. Well, said Jenex, I think the most beautiful thing I saw while going to Earth was a magical shell that has baby animals in them. I've heard that birds lay eggs in them. I believe that's called a nest, my dear, said Uncle Stan. Oh, right, a nest. Thank you. Uncle Stan said, Jenex, anything else? Asked Uncle Stan. Jotus said, I saw a solar flare burst off our sun as we were leaving Zebo. That lit up the sky. I also saw rocks, meteors, and asteroids that Uncle Stan had to take us off autopilot once in a while to maneuver us around. Then I saw several beautiful comets that seemed to be dancing in the sky. Oh yeah, Jenex chimed in. We also saw the Northern Lights putting on a dazzling light show right over your North Pole. Wow, that's amazing, said RD90. Then he added, I had to maneuver around several meteors too, and during my journey, nearly 30 years ago, I saw a lot of explosions from an intergalactic war. It lit up half the galaxy. Aunt Marianne said, Wow, RD90, you were so brave. Were you scared at all? RD90 replied, No. Well, maybe just a little. Janice continued, We have a question from Umar in Houston who wants to know, what does RD90 stand for? RD90 replied, I'm a 90th generation Robodroid. Thank you, Jotus and Jenex, said Aunt Marianne, and then she continued. The Jotus and Jenex Show is sponsored by Innovative Investing Services. Trusted experts with years of experience safely managing your hard-earned money. Call the professionals today at 281-460-8155 and start investing wisely. Next question. Uncle Stan said, pausing for a moment, Lucy from Wyoming wants to know, what does it feel like to ride in a starship? Jenex replied, It feels pretty cool to ride in a starship, and it's very fun. Maybe one day you'll get to ride in one too. Jotus added, For me, it's a bit scary. Space is dark and kind of lonely. Then there's the gravity. We had zero gravity out in space and we're floating all around. And then we had it again when we arrived here on Earth. All those changes made me feel dizzy. I felt gravity pulling me down. Wait, even better, I wrote a song about it. Let me sing it to you. He turned to Uncle Stan. Uncle Stan, give me a beat. Uncle Stan started tapping a rhythm on the counter. Jotus began to sing to the beat. Yeah, it's your boy Jotus. Feeling heavy, Uncle Stan hit that beat. Floating free, high above the stars. Zeba's behind me, Earth ain't too far. 0G, I was doing backflips till gravity came me back and gripped me by the hips. Up in space, you feel so light. Then boom, gravity says, hold on tight. My arms felt fine, but then my knees started wobbling like moon jelly beans. Gravity pulled in me, gravity. It's all around. T pulled in me, gravity. Bringing me down, but T pulled in me, gravity. Feels like 10 pounds, but T pulled in me, gravity. Wrinkles, dimples, stretch marks too. This is all because of you. Left Zebo and I waved goodbye. No gravity, just me and the sky. I bounced around like moon balloons. The space got serious real soon. Docked near Mars and had a little snack. Then hit an asteroid and I bounced right back. Uncle said, "Stead, hold on tight. We hit that wormhole and we saw the light. Gravity pulling me, gravity. It's all a gravity pulling me, gravity. Spun me, gravity pulling me, gravity. Gave me pounds, T pulling me, gravity. Now my feet are on the ground. Out in space, you feel so small. No up, no down, no rise, no fall. But gravity, it finds your soul. Keeps you grounded, makes you whole. Yo, shout out to all my astronauts and to Lucy from Wyoming. You sponsored this jam. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week, unless I float away. Cheers and applause erupted from Uncle Stan, Aunt Marianne, RD90, and Jenex. Thank you very much, said Jotus with a bow. Uncle Stan continues. Next question. Mohammed from Los Angeles wants to know, what type of technology did you guys use to get to Earth? Jotus and Jenex were both quiet. Uncle Stan stepped forward. I can answer this one. The truth is, we're not entirely sure how it works. In fact, we were hoping one of your NASA scientists could help us figure it out. We'd like to donate our spaceship to NASA so that maybe someday the people of Earth can visit our home planet. He paused before continuing. You see, Zebo was visited by our neighbors with advanced technology about 40 Earth years ago. They came from Ross 28, a star close to ours. Their mission was to share space travel technology with nearby planets that showed signs of intelligent life, hoping to make a galaxy a more advanced, connected place. They left behind 2 starships and 1 pilot, RD90, who stayed behind to help teach us how to use the starship. Eventually, we set a course for your son from our command center with the help of Commander Ramon, our chief navigator, and from there, our starship did the rest. Uncle Stan took a breath, glanced at his phone, then looked at the clock. Uncle Stan continued, looks like we have time for 2 last questions for today's show. Hermatza from Houston has 2 questions, one for Jotus and one for Jenex. Let's start with Jotus. Hermatza wrote, Jotus, I'm your classmate at Buccaneer High School, and I think your skin looks nice. What do you use to make it glow? Jotus blushed, clearly flattered. Well, I use this product called Star Glow, also known as suntan lotion. It has a SPF of 30, by the way. Hermatza, I think you're the nicest, most generous, and cutest girl ever. Oh, Jotus said, laughing. Someone's got a crush. Thank you, Jotus, said Uncle Stan, smiling. And now for Jenex's question. He read aloud, I'm your classmate also, and I think you're a fashion trendsetter. I love your iconic hairstyle. Where do you get it done? Jenex beamed. Oh, thank you. Well, I used to go to a hair salon on Zebo called Titanic Space Buns. They made amazing hair extensions and the biggest, most beautiful buns, but now I do it by hand. I can still make a space bun, but not exactly Titanic. More like mini orbital. She giggled. Still, those original buns always made me feel very happy. Thank you, Jotus and Jenex, Uncle Stan replied warmly. Then he turned to the camera. Well, that's all the time we have. We've reached the end of the Jotus and Jenex show. Make sure to tune in next week. And until then, be kind to yourself and to one another. Cue music. Applause. Show fade out. They all started taking off their headphones slowly, sitting in stunned silence for a long moment. No one spoke. Jenex was the first one to speak, breaking the stillness. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were wide with awe. We did it. We actually did it. The message went out, back home, and across Earth. Mission First Contact is complete. Uncle Stan and Aunt Marianne stood, their faces glowing with pride. They pulled Jotus and Jenex into a warm, joyful hug. We did it, Jotus repeated, breathless. I can't believe we actually sent out the radio signal. Commander Ramon is going to be so proud of us. RD90 stood a few feet away, unusually quiet. His metallic frame shifted slightly as he voiced his concern. What does this mean for me? He asked, his tone almost fragile. Will they see me as a threat? I'm different. Uncle Stan walked over and placed a reassuring hand on RD-90's shoulder. We don't know exactly how people will react, he said gently. NASA and the media will have questions, but all we can do is tell the truth. We came in peace. We came to share what we've learned. Stay calm, RD-90. I'm sure everything will be fine. The five of them walked toward the studio door, hearts pounding, not with fear, but with anticipation. Beyond the glass, a crowd of journalists and NASA scientists had gathered, pressing forward eagerly. They paused before stepping out. Uncle Stan gathered them in a circle and embraced. This, he said, eyes shining, isn't the end. It's just the beginning. They opened the door. Flashes went off, microphones extended towards them, questions poured out in a wave. Meanwhile, Johnny Fever pushed his way into the studio. Hey man, my show starts in 2 minutes, man. Get out of my way, man. Uncle Stan stayed steady. One by one, he answered every last question with honesty, humor and humility. The team stood by him, confident, proud, and united. By the end of the hour, they had booked 2 major appointments, a live television interview at the local news station next weekend, and a formal debriefing with NASA scientists the following week. Later, they made their way downstairs to the lobby. Outside, the evening sky glowed like amber. A large crowd formed in the street. They were chanting, "Gravity, gravity, gravity." Jotus turned to Jenex, stunned. They heard the song? The security guard jumped in and began escorting the group to their vehicle. As the crowd cheered, waved, and reached for selfies, RD-90 turned his head and whispered, Maybe they don't fear me, after all. Jenex smiled. They love you. They love us.